The RE4 Remake just got a brand new trailer and it is filled with everything that I wished for. Ladies and gentlemen, Capcom just released trailer 3 for the upcoming RE4 Remake. There is a lot to talk about, so let's break it down. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you are excited for the remake, and if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe to stay up to date on all things RE4 Remake related. So the trailer starts off by Sadler telling Leon that we are all connected through the holy body, which obviously means that when you are infected with the Las Plagas, Sadler can control you. We then get a look at the spike area, which if you remember is the trap that Salazar sets for Leon when he's like, ain't falling for this old trick. But this time around, it's a lot more dark and scarier. We can see skulls in the background indicating that, yeah, people have died here before. But then we get a horrifying shot of an enemy being infected with the Las Plagas in action. And it's a lot more intense this time because he's charging right at Leon. He's not slow walking, he is going straight in. We then get a wide shot of Ashley being, well, trying to be sacrificed, and obviously that doesn't work out. And this scene leads us to our first look at Sadler. Can somebody please give Sadler some hair products? I mean, Jesus Christ. But I will say that Sadler, in terms of design, looks really good here. I really like this character design direction that Capcom is going in, and I think the Sadler design is absolutely amazing. It then cuts to a shot of Ashley taking Leon's knife, and maybe this is the part where Ashley starts coughing up blood and then Leon has to take the knife back away from her because she then says temperance child. And I'm not trying to point out the obvious, but by the looks of her eyes, it looks like she's been doing some drugs. Then things get really exciting because we get a first look at the elevator fight, which if you remember is a nightmare in the original game. But the castle enemies here look a lot different than we're used to. Some of these enemies are still wearing their robes and some of them are not. The trailer then cuts to a shot of the other variant of the Las Plagas, which if you remember in the original Resident Evil 4, there was this Las Plagas variant, but this one can insta-kill you. So if you got near this type of Las Plagas, they would bite your head off in one hit. And that seems to be the same type of variant that we see right here. But obviously in the remake, if you have a knife, you can counter this attack so you won't get insta-killed. And then behold, we have a shot of the cannonball sequence. I'm gonna be honest, I really did not think they were gonna keep this in the remake, but I guess I was wrong. And judging by the look of this image, it looks just like the original. The layout looks exactly like the original, and even the cannon placement is exactly how it was, just like the OG. We then cut to the shot of Leon and Louis, but if you look closely, Leon does not look so good. You can see these weird veins going down his arm, which seems to indicate that he is infected right here. And Louis seems to be holding some sort of antidote for Leon, if I'm not mistaken, but he says, I'll make it cheap for you. So either Louis wants a price or you have to do some sort of side quest in order to get this item from Louis. But that's not long after we get a shot of the El Gigante boss fight, or should I say boss fights. This is also something that I did not think they were going to keep in the remake, and the El Gigante design looks really cool this time around. The one on the right, you could see the Las Plagas popping out of his back, and I'm not sure what's going on with the guy on the left. He seems to be having a bad day. I'm not sure what this thing on the left is. Maybe this is the lever that you have to pull in order for the floor to open up and you can kill one of these guys. And I find it interesting that in the OG, it was just Leon who fought these guys, but in the remake, Louis is going to assist Leon in this battle. And I also like the banter that these guys have between each other. In the original, Louis and Leon were pretty much nice to each other, but in the remake, it seems like they're gonna have just a little bit more conflict, but I'm sure by the end, they're gonna be best friends. And then we get a shot of the Bella sisters, but at least we now have confirmation that the Bella sisters will be in the remake. And if you thought the Bella sisters were exciting, Krauser is finally back! But his design looks really good right here. But more on Krauser in a bit. The castle section is what's really getting me excited here. If we take a look at our inventory, obviously we can see the TMP, the handgun, the rifle. That seems to be the riot shotgun, and above that, if I'm not mistaken, is maybe the broken butterfly. Then obviously we have our grenades and our flashbangs. The castle enemies look just like they do in the original. They have their maces, their scythes, and their riot shields. And what I do find interesting right here is in the old RE4 Remake gameplay, when Ashley was being taken, the Ganados would pick her up and carry her away, just like they did in the OG. But the castle enemies seem to not even care. They don't pick Ashley up and carry her away like the Ganados do. It seems like the castle enemies try to choke out Ashley and you have to save her in time. And if you don't, obviously she dies. And then behold, the classic suplex is back. Oh my god, thank you Capcom for keeping this in the remake. I was so scared that they were gonna cut it out. And then we get our first look at Ashley in action. This is obviously the point in the game where we play as Ashley, but if you look closely, the night enemies are making a return. You can see the Plagueis parasite coming out of the night, and then you can see its blade, obviously confirming that this is in fact the night enemy. We then get a shot of the water room, which obviously, like every RE4 fan knows, it was one of the hardest rooms in the original game, and here it's making a return. And just like the OG, the enemies throw their items at you, and you can either dodge or you can shoot them out of midair. Ashley is turning the crank just like she does in the OG, and this is obviously the sequence where you have to defend her. We then get a shot of Leon telling Ashley that we can do this together, and I think this is the point in the game where he is really trying to boost up Ashley's confidence, and you can see it in her facial expressions. She smirks and she really looks up to Leon, and I think this also hints at the fact that she's gonna develop a slight crush for Leon. Then we cut to Lewis picking up a pipe and making a little joke, and just from these few seconds alone, I really like the humor that Capcom is trying to portray here. They're obviously trying to show us fans that, hey, the RE4 remake is not cutting out the humor, so that's a good thing. Then we get our first gameplay sequence on the island, and surprise, surprise, Mike is making a return. And if we take a look at the island enemies, again, they look just like they do in the original. They're wearing their helmets, their vests, their boots. I mean, everything is here. This entire sequence is literally ripped straight out of the original, except this time with better graphics and better sound design. Mike comes in and he guns down the Ganados just like he does in the OG. There's a Ganado on the turret shooting at Leon, and Mike even makes a reference to Hunnigan, signifying that she is going to play a much bigger role in this story. And then we get a look at the minecart sequence, which I didn't even think was gonna be in the remake, but this time around, Lewis tags along. I mean, this entire sequence is so different from the OG, but I think this looks even better. This time around, there's different lanes, there's red barrels that you can shoot, and if you look at the top right, you can see Dr. Salvador in one of the minecarts. The enemies have their crossbows, which are going to be absolutely annoying, just like they were in the original. And this might be a small detail, but if you look at Lewis, he's in front of Leon. And I think this is trying to show that Lewis is going to play a much more lead role in this story, almost kind of being a leader to Leon in a way. And then we get a weird look at whatever this is. At first, I thought this was that really big nest where all of those little bugs come out of it, but this might actually be the final boss arena. I could be wrong, but I want to hear your guesses down below. But gosh, I mean, what is this thing? Then we get our first look at the Garadors, and oh my god, just look at the detail. You can see his teeth, his eyes are all tied up, and he looks just like he does in the original. You can even see the Las Plagas parasite if you look closely on his back. This enemy looks absolutely insane in the remake, and I'm really excited to see how this fight plays out. We then cut to a shot of Leon and Ashley in the lab on the island. He's obviously sitting right here with Ashley trying to comfort her, and then boom, behold the Krauser knife fight. But instead of this fight being a quick time event, it is an actual knife boss fight with Krauser, where you have to evade, parry, and even mash a button to kick Krauser off of you. I feel like the choreography in this fight is going to be really good. And then we get another good look at Ada, who's looking absolutely amazing, which then leads to a shot of Leon being infected. I don't think Leon's having a good day right here. And another thing that I'm really surprised about is the fact that these little bug guys are back. I forget how you say it. Is it Novistadors? Novistators? However you say it. But yeah, these annoying little bug dudes are back, and I am not looking forward to fighting these guys again. And I'm really surprised that Capcom hasn't shown the regenerators yet, but they do show one final shot of the lab, and obviously we can see the chair that Leon and Ashley have to sit in order to cure their little parasite. But the detail in this room is absolutely amazing, and I really want to see what the regenerators look like. But let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys excited or are you not excited? Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time.